Welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. Today is all about getting ready for chicken processing. It's going to take place here tomorrow morning about 7 o'clock. All three of us here in the house are going to get out here and get to working on it just as soon as it's good and light. But guys, thanks for stopping in. Hit the old thumbs up for us, subscribe if you hadn't, and if you have, y'all, we appreciate you. Everything's going pretty good so far this morning, other than all of those mosquito and chigger bites I seem to have gotten out here in the woods the past few days. It was an interesting night, to say the least, scratching and tossing and turning. But guys, thanks for stopping in. Let's get to setting some things up. All right, y'all, so what we're doing is bringing our hugging cones, that's what we'll call them, hugging cones. I think that's what most people call them. Anyways, we'll bring those right here. Just got them on a little stand that we built a couple of years ago, and it works out pretty good. We'll put a 5-gallon bucket underneath the cones. We primarily use this one over here. It's a small to medium cone, and then we've got a large cone and an extra large. Extra large would be more for Cornish cross if you're going to raise those, or just a extra large bird, and once in a while you'll get that with a ranger. And then beside of it we've got a stainless steel insert. Basically I think it was underneath an ice machine at one time and just as you can see, just a rough cut frame thrown together a few years ago, and it's held up, so we'll level it up and it's at the right height for me.
For him, yeah, not me, but
I may have to get her a cinder block to stand on, but it's at the right height for me. So we'll basically dispatch the bird here, and then on the back side we've got some rope. I'll show you that here in just a second, but some rope and some wire, and we'll hang the bird there, let it finish its, we'll call it evacuation process. That sounds pretty good, don't it? We'll let it finish everything it needs to do there before we put it into the plucker that you saw me rolling out earlier, and we'll set that plucker up in the morning. No sense in having it sit out overnight in the elements.
And the scalder. And
yeah, the scalder too. We're going to set that up here in just a few minutes, so you'll see that. And drag some water hose and show you our little setup here for cleaning birds. On the back side of this stand, just some rope and a little slip knot. My brother used it yesterday, must have came up with that. That's a better idea. Just stick the foot in there, hang it, bird will hang down and do all the draining that it needs to do. Before going over here onto this table, we got to clean it up good. We wash and then we Clorox everything. Y'all, I've yet to see Samson muddy. He gets in his pool every day.
He gets about ankle deep.
Yeah, ankle deep, and about like me at the ocean. He'll get about ankle deep, but he hadn't laid down in it that we've seen it all and wallered, which is unusual for a hog, I guess. He just wants to be a good looking stud. Yeah. That's gonna work much better than the stock pot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the hose. All right, turn it loose. Pretty level. Level enough. So if you're going to do this at home yourself, you're going to need one of these little Y splitters. Run your main hose into it so that you can run a hose off to your wash table where you'll be washing down your birds, because you know you don't always get a perfect evisceration and you may need to do a little bit of hosing off. Plus it's good to keep your table washed down. A short hose is ideal to hook into these pluckers, but what we have, because we've used up all of our hoses, is just a little fit in here that if we're gentle will work. This is not Schedule 40. Kind of turn it down like that. I believe that's stout enough, so long as we're gentle with it, we ain't got to worry about nothing snapping or breaking. It should work just fine, y'all. We'll go ahead and get this table cleaned up, and we decided to just go ahead and bring this down. We'll throw something over the top of it to keep the inside fairly clean. I don't think they're calling for any rain, so it should be fine either way. But we'll get everything cleaned up, leveled up, and y'all see this thing ready to go here in shortly. Our next step is to get this cleaning table leveled up side to side so that it will actually drain, because there's not much slope inside of this insert. Looks like we're pretty close that way, a little bit off that way. Looks like that back right corner I need to put a little something under. I believe we're perfect now. We'll find out here when we clean this thing up. All right, let's do a little test run. Make sure our water's gonna kick in, and it is. It's good. Oh, probably gonna put chiggers on that too. Now I'll sit on this log, get some more chiggers, red bugs on my butt, and we'll see if this All right, I got everything hooked up right. Let's hit the power. It appears to be working just fine. Tomorrow will be the true test when we put an actual bird in it, but I believe it's going to work just fine. We've used, the first one we ever had was a homemade one. We did one of those whiz bang type pluckers, and it worked okay when it worked. The second one was smaller than this, only a half horse is what I found out. And it worked pretty good, but there's still some feathers left. This one's a horse and a half. It should take the feathers off and cook it for us at the same time. We'll find out tomorrow. All right, y'all, back here behind us is our complete setup. Got the new plucker here, the scalding tank. We'll put our thermometer in there. You want your water at 150 degrees. We have found, and everything's trying to bite me. Everything's trying to bite me. Oh, that's part of living down here in the south where it's muggy and hot all the time in the summer. Anyways, 150. We've tried it at 145. It doesn't do good enough. You want 150 for about probably a good 10 to 15 seconds, dunking it, sloshing it around. We'll try to show you that tomorrow. We'll show you the scalding, and we'll show you the plucking in the plucking machine, and then we'll show you on another video on down the way just a little bit, us breaking those birds down for portion sizes for the freezer. We've got our cones over here that the bird goes in head first, and then our evisceration table where we got it. And this works out really good. We've been doing this for several years and it works. Let's go check on those birds. They've got about, let's see, what time is it now? It's mid-morning.
It's almost lunchtime.
Almost lunchtime. So they've got until 6:30 tomorrow morning. All right, these birds are exactly 8 weeks old. And y'all, they're ready. When you start seeing them lay down like this during the day, these rangers, it's time to process. We've been pulling the feed back for a couple of days. Gave them a little this morning, and that's the last of it. Y'all, if you're going to process chickens yourself, what you want to do is take their feed away. We do it 16 hours before we're actually going to process birds. And that gives them a chance to get all that feed completely through their system, and it just makes for a cleaner processing, don't you think?
It does. I mean, they're still going to have like a little piece of grass here and there, but they won't be full of feed.
No, they won't be full of feed. And y'all, they do eat grass. People will tell you they eat sloughs and sloughs of grass, but no, they don't eat tons of grass. They do eat it, yes, when you move them to it. They're eating, trying to get any bug they can. If I had to guess, and this is a guess, and there might be some studies out there that will actually show, but I would say that probably no more than 10% of their diet, it comes from that grass. It comes from that high quality plant-based feed that we give them.
Yeah.
And y'all, if you're wanting a high quality bird like this, and you go somewhere to buy it, you're gonna pay a premium for that chicken. Probably at least $20 a chicken. That would be my guess. You might pay more. And I'll go ahead and tell you, it takes us, I think this batch was about $8 and maybe 75 cents a bird to raise, because we use a high quality plant-based, high protein feed, and we throw a lot of grit to them, and we keep the water fresh. We put a lot of input into these chickens because we want what the folks that are able to go buy those $20 to $25 birds are eating. That's why we're doing it here at home, and we hope that we are encouraging you and hopefully showing you how to do it yourself. Same way with the pork. We feed a 100% plant-based diet for them, and it's and
it may cost a little more to do that, but giving them a straight plant-based diet is what we prefer.
It's anyways. What we prefer. You know, a hog eat anything. Yeah. You're an omnivore, isn't that right? Omnivore, is that what you call it?
I think that's right.
I believe that's right. Anyways, like I said before, I'm no expert on anything. We just try to do a good job. We know what we want to eat. We know what we want to put into our body, so that's what we put into these animals' bodies. Clean nutrition. No animal byproducts, anything like that. And you come out with a quality product you can't get in a grocery store. And some of the folks that are raising them to sell on pasture or giving them a animal byproduct in the feed. I just don't like that. You know, yes, a hog can eat it, chicken can eat it, no problem. We just prefer to do it this way. We know it's nice and clean. And the chickens had strawberries today, not these, some of the laying hens. And
frozen strawberries.
Frozen strawberries. We keep treats for them. And y'all, another thing about growing your own food, you ain't got to worry about no pathogens. I mean, I'm trying to say the right words here. Nothing that begins with a Hep and ends with a C in it, because I saw that in the news earlier. But so you ain't got to worry about that stuff. You know, we got clean practices around here. We follow the book when it comes to processing everything that we do, from vegetables to meat, y'all. Guys, thanks for hanging in there with us. I've ran my mouth long enough, right? I've ran it long enough.
Obviously, he's the talker of the two.
Yeah, I talk too much. But you know what's funny? When I was a kid, I'd hide behind my mama. I was so shy. It wasn't until I was a young teenager started singing Elvis music in church, and that kind of broke me out of my mold. Anyways, guys, hit the thumbs up for us, subscribe if you hadn't, and if you have, y'all, we appreciate you. We're gonna clean some birds in the morning. We'll bring you along for a little bit of it. See you later.